Here we go. Super Bowl kickoff show begins right now. We've got the picks for this game on Underdog. Promo code Smitty. We've also got some breaking news. Aaron Rodgers to be released, which means that we've got another quarterback to add to this little lineup here, which is actually fantastic. But then again, you have another vacancy. So it's like one door opens, another closes. But, you know, I think this could be good for a couple of scenarios that I think need quarterback very badly. The Raiders kind of come to mind. There are a few locations Aaron Rodgers could fit pretty decently into. Maybe he doesn't need to feed Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams. Maybe Adams is on the move as well. But maybe we need a more high-powered quarterback. Maybe Darnold or Fields or the Jets get crazy and trade up. Let's break all that down. Let's talk about the Super Bowl as we count down the minutes before kickoff. Picks right here. Underdog promo code Smitty. Link in the description. Link pinned in the live chat. Make sure you take advantage of this now. Don't be watching this game without a bunch of player hires and lowers and drafts and such. The Fantasy Football Show kickoff show, Super Bowl show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
As I mentioned, breaking news in that Aaron Rodgers was notified by the team that he would be released. This coming from Jay Glazer. Big scoopage, according to Jay. Aaron Rodgers flew back to New Jersey last week to meet with the Jets about his future with the team, only to be told that the team will be moving on from him, and that means that he will be a June 1 designation that allows him to sign with another team in the league on March 12 if he decides to continue to play. Given that Aaron Rodgers made the effort to fly back to discuss his future, all signs point to him continuing to play. It just won't be for the New York Jets. This is an interesting piece of news. We thought maybe this could happen, but I think the trending lately, the lean by all the news and reports were that Aaron Rodgers would be returning to the New York Jets, that Aaron Glenn would probably lean on him as his quarterback unless they could find something bigger, stronger, better. But now it appears Aaron Rodgers is gone. I will say that I would be surprised if Adams is gone as well, and they do a whole, clean build up from the ground up using Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, get back to defense in the run. I do believe this is good for Breece Hall. I think Breece Hall needs to be the focal point of the offense. I think that's what this means. I think Aaron Glenn is going to make defense the key, and it's going to be a pretty good move for Breece Hall in general. Garrett Wilson, we'll see. We'll see if Adams is there. We'll see who's throwing the football to him. We'll open the phone lines here in a second to discuss that, get your ideas, what you guys think might happen with Aaron Rodgers, where he could land. Might he be a part of this carousel really quickly? We'll be adding him to this board. I kind of just put him on here now. So smash that like button, subscribe on your way in the door, and let's do this. So my hires for the Super Bowl here, for the big game, are Patrick Mahomes higher on 19.5 rushing yards. I may have lowered that because see these little up and down arrows? You can click that and toggle up and down. And I think I lowered it because it was like at 20 or 30 yards. I put it at 19, which lowered the odds of it, but I like the 19.5 better. Kareem Hunt, 42.5 yards. That was out of the box higher. Saquon Barkley, 114.5 yards. That was 112. It could be higher as of this moment. You might want to check it higher. I like that out of the box. Jalen Hurts higher on the touchdown, rushing or receiving. Smash that. Smash that. Phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in, dial in, dial in. Brought to you by theattic.shop. We will be discussing whatever you want. We'll be discussing Aaron Rodgers. We'll be discussing the free agent pool of players. We'll be discussing any super chat questions you might have, any phone calls and random leagues and keeper questions you have. Obviously, we want to talk as much Super Bowl as we can because this is a Super Bowl kickoff show. What are your predictions? What are my predictions? I'll tell you. This is the bracket. This is the bracket as it's happened. And your boy is going to circle the KC Chiefs. I have no doubt about the Chiefs winning this game, in my mind at least. And I kind of love that everybody hates them. I kind of love that people are blinded by their anti-Patrick Mahomes and the referee situation. I actually enjoy all the hate. And I think Patrick Mahomes deserves this. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to earn this. I think Patrick Mahomes, after he wins his third Super Bowl in a row, barring no crazy referee debacles, I think he'll get more respect than people are expecting. I think everyone's going to kind of think, oh, this is going to get stolen from the Philadelphia Eagles. The Chiefs are just too good. Andy Reid's too good. Patrick Mahomes is too good. I think Barkley's the key. If they can try and contain Barkley as much as possible, the Eagles won't have a chance. If Barkley runs for 150 yards and a touchdown, then the Eagles are in the final seconds of the game. That's how good Saquon Barkley is and how important he is. But the Chiefs are going to win this game, in my opinion. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be the MVP. I think everyone's going to lose their mind. I hope Travis Kelce does not propose to Taylor Swift. Although, if they did propose and let's say he retired, which he says he's not going to. He says he's got a lot of football left. We kind of want him to retire because then him and Taylor won't be at the games. Or will they? Will they just come as a retired Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift and just sit up in the box anyway and watch the games, and then we see the camera go on both of them? Look at the married, retired couple. I mean, they'll probably just continue to show them, so maybe it doesn't even matter. But I do know that Patrick Mahomes is going to be a controversial topic in the offseason. Oh, does he deserve to be called in contention of potentially being Tom Brady's protege in GOAT status? Is he already there? Is he not? He'll never be because he's a cheater. He's not a cheater. Does he get preferential treatment? Absolutely. Ready to win with the $50 bowl prediction on three-peat. Deckard, if you have that up there, and you might, that Mahomes wins, I think you do, you'll be in the running for the vote, no doubt about it. I think you and Superfish might have the clearest chance of being in the running for the vote. But if you're up there on the board for that, that's awesome. Great job. We got Dre live from New Jersey. Dre, you're live.
Uncle Smitty, how you doing? Happy Super Bowl Sunday.
What's up? Happy Super Bowl.
I wanted to get your opinion on the Jets situation. I know you broke the news with the Aaron Rodgers thing. How do you think Aaron Glenn maneuvers this QB situation? Is it in the draft? Is it in the offseason signing some vet? What do you think?
Well, I think if it were me, I don't know that he's going to do it the way I do it. So your question is, what do I think they do it, right? I'll tell you both, I guess. If it was me, I'd go get Justin Fields. I mean, he's by far and away the best available quarterback option. I think Darnold's a really strong second. I think Darnold needs a specific coach and cultivation that Dable can bring him in New York. That a couple other situations, Shane Steichen in Indy, maybe Indy trades AR5 because they obviously don't believe in AR5. Why not trade him? I know a lot of teams that would take a gamble on AR5 right now. A lot of teams. The Raiders, he's definitely a kind of broken product, but the team gave up on him in the middle of what is essentially a continuation of his rookie year. The guy hadn't played 10 games yet. They sat him on the bench. So why not trade him? Shane Steichen in Indy or New York, those are the two coaches that need to cultivate Justin Fields to get the most out of him. But doesn't mean I wouldn't try and get the right people around Justin Fields. If I'm Aaron Glenn, bring him in, give him Garrett Wilson, give him Devontae Adams. I don't even know if I'd move Adams. Give him Breece Hall, give him a defense. He's never had any of those things. So that's the answer. Now, what will Aaron Glenn do? I don't know, but I will tell you, I like Aaron Glenn. I like the culture he'll bring. I don't know if they'll win right away. I don't know if their quarterback 2 or 3 years from now is even on the team right now. That's an unfortunate way to look at this. It's the truth. We don't Aaron Glenn may not have all the answers right away. He may need to instill culture, build from the ground up, and he'll be given a little time if his team's like gritty and it plays really well, it plays good defense, runs the ball well, has mediocre quarterback play, and then year 2 or 3 of Glenn's regime, the new quarterback's in there. I do think it's solvable now, but I don't know that Tennessee or Cleveland at the 1 and 2 overall pick are going to surrender the pick. That would be plan number 2, or even plan number 1. Go get Cam Ward, go get Shedeur Sanders. But you got to keep in mind that when you're Tennessee or you're Cleveland, almost nothing's going to look more attractive than getting that quarterback to build around, because you rarely get a top 2 pick where there's 2 quarterbacks that you can go after. Aaron Glenn with Russell Wilson would be very disappointing. Darnold would be intriguing, although again, and I was starting to talk about Dable and Shane Steichen. They would both be good for Darnold as well. Fields and Darnold both need cultivation, but if I'm Aaron Glenn, do I try Darnold? Absolutely. It's your only option. Yeah. I mean, what other options do you have? You got Mac Jones, kind of like intriguing but not great. That's your Darnold version of this quarterback pool if you're to try and find another quarterback that might not be untapped. I'm not saying he'll do well, but he had some promise. We saw some good things from him last year when he was utilized. That's it, bro. It's the 2 rookies. Yeah. It's trading for Joe Milton if you got balls of steel, which maybe Aaron Glenn does. I like Joe Milton a lot. I don't care what anybody says. Trade for AR5. Those are your options. But what will Aaron Glenn do? Look.
And now this is the fantasy football show. So I had to close on a fantasy football question. Obviously, this bumps Brees up to a sexier option, you know, when you're looking for a running back if you don't go running back round 1. How does this affect Garrett Wilson's stock to you? I know it bumps Brees up. Does it keep Garrett the same even though it's murky? You know what I'm saying? I know we got a year so early. It's so early. But Brees goes up. What about Wilson? Does he stay the same? Does he fall a little bit to you? What do you think?
I don't think Brees goes up in the random Joe's eyes at all. Brees Hall's a 3rd rounder. Make sure you're taking him in the 3rd round. It sounded like the way you framed that, you were willing to take him in the 2nd round. Like, he's a 3rd rounder right now. Brees Hall is a smash home run 3rd round pick. And ambiguity doesn't increase value. Right now, Brees Hall's value may have taken a hit in the random Joe's eyes, because now you don't know what's going on. It's cloudy. It's ambiguous. So let's just make sure that point's clear. Garrett Wilson's a 2-3 round guy, and without any sort of quarterback, he locks into 3 right now. There's no way anybody's going to feel comfortable taking Garrett Wilson in the round 2 territory unless you're just crazy, when he was 2-3 turn material with Aaron Rodgers. Familiar quarterback, did pretty well with them last year. At times, at least you knew what was going on. Now, could his situation improve from Aaron Rodgers? Yeah. And then his ADP will climb back into round 2 and slightly above where it was with Aaron Rodgers if he's got a better quarterback. Same thing with Brees Hall. Brees could climb to the bottom of 2 or even mid 2 to bottom of 2 if he had, let's say, Fields or Darnold or Cam or Shedeur. Cam or Shedeur might keep both those guys at the top of 3, though, because of maybe they're not going to be good rookies. A lot of people don't like rookie quarterbacks still. So it just depends, bro. It's an ebb and flow, always evolving ADP, and only Darnold and Fields would secure Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson into the bottom of round 2.
All right, I appreciate that, Uncle Smitty. Have a good one.
All right, later, bro. And those are all my guesses. I mean, anything can happen to a degree a little bit differently than I'm predicting, but those are my predictions. We got Ray G with his 17-month membership, says Aubrey to Jupiter, he says.
To Jupiter.
So, hit me with your questions. Darnold is built by a system, 1 wide receiver. He is and he isn't. I think Darnold does deserve a little more credit than that, Dice Boy, to be saying Darnold's a system guy. Darnold did some pretty good things, bro, last year. And I admit I was one that was pretty down on Darnold from a skill perspective. I made fun of, all of the Matt Maiocco, San Francisco 49er beat writer who said that Darnold threw the best football, the most beautiful football in 49er history. And he never started a game, but he was the backup, and everybody said, oh, hey, Darnold, he's so good. He's so good. And Matt Maiocco comes out and goes, yeah, he's not only is he good, guys, he throws the best football in 49er history, which I still think is ridiculous because you had Montana, you had Steve Young, you had a lot of quarterbacks that threw a better football than Sam Darnold. And I know that it wasn't a comment to he's the best quarterback. It was just the best looking football. I still think it's a ridiculous comment. But I made fun of it to the tune of he's not good. What are we talking about? And Darnold played good. So Dice Boy says he's system. I think he's definitely more system than elite. But I think there's some talent there that got lost in the shuffle, and keeping in mind that a lot of guys go to these situations, Baker, Darnold, and there's some others that might be in that vein, that they go somewhere. Trevor Lawrence is kind of one that I think is the most likely to be the kind of quarterback that could blossom into what Baker is doing now if he gets the right system and coach. He's been through system and coach. Turnover over and over and over. Poor Trevor Lawrence. Everyone judging him, and I agree. It's frustrating. It's hard to believe in him and buy into him. But he needs that one stop and done. You got the change out of coaches and system, and it's good. You're good for the rest of your career. Some guys have the same coach and system their entire career. It's like it's unfair to watch Trevor Lawrence get thrown to the wolves. And then he gets taken out and then thrown to a new set of wolves, and taken out and thrown to a new set of wolves. I think Darnold was a victim of situations. I think he got a great system and great situation that helped him get the most out of his skill set and bag of tricks. And the question is, to Dice Boy, your point, he has to go to a good situation and a good coach and a good system, or he'll fall back into the abyss. But I don't know that I would say he's a system guy. I think he's a little bit better than that. I think Darnold earned my respect, at least being a top 10 to 15 quarterback. Or top 11 to 15. I'm not saying he's a top 10 guy, no matter where he goes, but he's a top 11 to 15 quarterback. I think you put him right in the middle of the league, he's easily dead center in the middle of the league in terms of skills. And those guys can fall out of the NFL real quickly. A guy at 15 or 16, that's where Jimmy G was for so many people. Oh, Jimmy G's, I'd say he's one of the worst quarterbacks. Maybe he doesn't even deserve to be a starting quarterback, a top 32 quarterback in the NFL when he was a Niner. And people are like, oh my God, especially Niner fans, you're out of your mind. He's a top 15 quarter. People that view a 15 to 20 quarterback, system can have a lot to do with it. And you take away one little thing and they're out of the league. Like there are a good 10 to 12 to 15 quarterbacks that aren't going anywhere. Everybody else is kind of on borrowed time or proving themselves. Even like an AR5, you don't know. 2-3 years he might not be starting anymore. 2 to 3 years he might be a top 7 quarterback. It happens that quickly. Darnold could start for 5-7 more years, or he could play one more season, fail out, and never start another game. That's what you're talking about with those guys in that range. Jimmy G to the Niners Super Bowl, Sam Darnold fold. Jimmy G's nothing, Dice Boy. He's nothing. He's garbage. He's always been a garbage quarterback. He's one of the worst quarterbacks in the National Football League. Stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. Travis, you're live.
Yeah, I'd even go as far as saying, like, you can define a system quarterback so many different ways. Like, 90% of the quarterbacks in the NFL, if they're not in a specific system, they're not going to be that good, or they're not going to be as good as they can be. So it's really like splitting hairs, and depends on what you think in terms of like calling someone a system quarterback. I think that's just an easy label to put on somebody. If they, if they've been successful on one team and not another, it's easy to say that.
Yeah,
doesn't necessarily mean it's true.
Jimmy G did throw the best hospital ball in the world. Like, Decker's right on here. The most beautiful. He was number one in the league in hospital balls. There's no one that throws a better hospital ball than Jimmy Garoppolo. Not a single soul on this planet throws a better. That he's good at. If they had a hospital ball event at the Super Bowl events, he'd win it, 100%. All right, what do you think about Aaron Rodgers though? Like, where is he likely to go? I mean, he could retire. He could say, you know what? Everyone's speculating, like Jay Glazer's speculating that, his willingness to go meet and try, saying he wants to come back doesn't mean he wants to come back if it's not New York. Like, learning a system again, that takes a lot of work. Learning the guys and building the relationships, and that's all a tremendous amount of work. Stepping back into a system where all that's established is a lot easier in the offseason. It's a lot easier during the in-season. It's a lot easier on your body. There's a chance that his attitude toward coming back, which is very much a willingness to come back leading into this news, is completely diminished and explodes and implodes, and he doesn't ever want to return and start over again because it's so exhausting. But if he was to not retire, let's say, because I think that's a 30% chance, where does he want to go? Not where does he go, where does he want to go, in your opinion? If he's sitting down, what is the team that he says, if I could choose, that's where I'm going? Let's start there. Raiders?
It's probably something like the Raiders.
Giants?
I was going to say maybe Cleveland, just because they have a decent team if he wants to try to win. I could also see him being willing to go somewhere like if New Orleans said, we'll bring in Devontae Adams too, and you can, be the king of the show again, which I don't think would be the best thing for him. You see what happens when Aaron Rodgers is in charge.
Do you think he contemplates the Steelers?
Steelers, yeah. I think anywhere that has a chance to win some games, he'd be open to going.
The Steelers would be interesting. Just because we don't have to rely on any fantasy football output, right? He's going there. We don't even draft anyone from Pittsburgh. I don't draft Pickens anymore. Pickens can kick rocks. He's done. He's dead to me. So he goes to the Steelers. Steelers, yeah, like having Pickens. It'll help the team. That could be interesting.
They could bring in Devontae Adams and make him happy, because I don't think the Jets will keep Devontae Adams.
That would be crazy.
If
they cut him, if they don't trade him, and then they go as a package to Pittsburgh, that would be that would be very interesting.
That's what I had said about the Saints at first, because I know the Saints went after Derek Carr and they seem to keep not wanting to trade and get a quarterback in the draft, but I think they might finally be willing to kind of go to the bottom and go after Archie Manning or someone. But yeah, the Steelers would be a prime spot for that, because they're not willing to tank now either. They think they can still win. So.
I mean, the Steelers would be, and again, right now, guys, we're talking about we're talking about three different things, really. I got into where I think he'd be the best fit. I don't know if he wants to go to the Steelers, but the Steelers are in the middle. They're in the middle of a breakup between the other quarterback, Fields, the mistress, and the starter, Russell Wilson. They've already sent Russell Wilson away. They're contemplating making the part-timer Fields the guy that should have been the starter all year long, the guy that Tomlin should be fired over because he didn't realize that Fields was better, and he's about to choose Fields, which is a fireable offense in my opinion, because it shows incompetence that you knew who the starter was all year, or now you, in retrospect, know, and you're going to go with the backup that should have been the starter. This is ridiculous. So you have him wavering right now. If Aaron Rodgers calls you up and you're Tomlin, and he says, look, I've already talked to Adams. Once they release Adams, he's Red Rover sent Adams right over as well. We come over, we win a Super Bowl. If you're Aaron Rodgers, you're thinking, I'm old. I don't want a difficult situation. This almost guarantees me a Super Bowl appearance, and then the rest is up to me because they continue to fail when they get into the Super Bowl. he says to himself, I don't want to go somewhere where we don't have a shot at winning a Super Bowl. You go to the Raiders, that's a uphill battle. You might just end your career. At least you could end your career with a playoff appearance, even if you're one and done like the Steelers are so good at doing.
Yep.
He is guaranteeing himself, based on Tomlin's record, a Super Bowl appearance. That would be that would be the spot.
Russell Wilson, I'm sure Tomlin can wrap his ego in his head around. I can win with Aaron Rodgers. He's one more year out from the injury. He's healthy now. He can get the ball downfield.
That is the best place for Aaron Rodgers to go. That is the best place for, in my opinion, for his age, for his desire to start over, for the ease of simplicity, for the guaranteed playoff appearance, so he can give it one more shot and at least make the playoffs. And he's so egotistical, not in the worst way, just in a quarterback kind of way, that I bet he says, you know what, coast me in there. Once we get in there, we're going to get in a groove and we're going to win one game at a time. And that's the way Aaron Rodgers is going to think. This is the most ready-built system for him, and for him to do the least amount of work. Defense wins, low-scoring games, gritty games. He gets to watch from the sideline a lot of the time, and that's the place to go. This is like the more condensed, easier, less work, better output situation compared to this New York Jets situation. It's like the sister or the cousin of this situation. I think that's what he needs to do. The next best location to me would probably be, God, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb. Some might say the Vikings, but then he's just following Brett Favre. You can't do that. You can't do it. You just can't do it. There's no way. Even if you wanted to, you can't. Not that they would do it. They got J.J. McCarthy. Now I'm just looking at teams that just lost their starter potentially. Okay, Cleveland's okay. New York is too far away from being ready. I don't think he wants to end his career like that, and I don't think that they want to go down a bridge quarterback road. They want to get Neighbors his final, dancing partner. They don't want to just keep rotating him out. Too early to replace Caleb Williams. New Orleans, as you said, it's probably, here it is. It's probably New Orleans, Cleveland, Pittsburgh. Right, he's no way he wants to go to Tennessee or the Raiders. Those are the only spots for him to go to.
New Orleans is what I said all offseason. Like all offseason, I've been saying that because they just seem like the type of team that will not go to the bottom. Maybe they finally will, but they went and got Derek Carr and holding on to that.
I don't know.
So if they went out and brought in, Devontae Adams, which I think any team that gets him will probably try to do anyway. You might as well.
Yeah, it's too far away from the climb, though, in my opinion. But you never know. I mean, it's definitely in the cards.
Too, but yeah,
definitely in the cards. Seattle is an okay option to throw in as well, I suppose. But not with Geno there. So with Geno there, if they didn't get rid of Geno, there's no way Aaron Rodgers is going. And A-Rod to Dallas, Matto, there's a 0% chance that he's going to Dallas. Aaron Rodgers is not coming back to play backup football. Like, that's not what he's going to retire. If he can't get a starting job, he's walking away. There's no shot. There's 0% chance he's going to play as a backup quarterback somewhere. He's going somewhere where he's given the keys to the starting lineup, and that's it. There's no question about it. I think Pittsburgh, I'm going to plant my flag here. I think not only is Pittsburgh the smartest place for him to go, I think Pittsburgh ends up being where he goes. I'm going to plant my flag here. I know it's kind of like out of midfield. Okay, so that's what I think. I think it's the best place and the place he'll want to go. That's going to be my that, or he retires. I think Raiders, too much work. He's not going to do it. Cleveland, too much ambiguity and too much work. Seattle, got to get rid of Geno or he won't even go. And then the Saints, I think it's just too much of a... the best way to describe the Saints is like... I don't know. It's like that... what's the best way to describe them? They're a good team at the surface level, but you've got to pull them way too far from the bottom. Like, it's just going to be such a tough... It's kind of like... it's kind of like a 2-year plan. I don't think he wants to go somewhere where he can maybe guarantee himself a playoff contending team and at least go out trying. And I think the only place is the Pittsburgh Steelers because of the way Tomlin always wins, has a winning season, makes the playoffs. I think he does. I think he's a Pittsburgh Steeler. And I'm trying to picture Ron Navy talking about Aaron Rodgers. I could hear him.
I was going to say, I wonder what Steelers fans will think of that.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll like it, but
in Indianapolis, Cash, who said Indianapolis, they got to get rid of AR5, but I think AR5 is Tomlin wins when. Jolts, don't act like you don't know what we're talking about. Don't come in here and act like you haven't been here and you don't understand what I'm saying when I say Tomlin wins. Don't act like that. Yeah, you heard what I just said. I made it very abundantly clear, Jolts. I said he makes the playoffs and then he loses. What part of that was hard for you to understand? Pittsburgh in Indy's got to trade AR5, in my opinion. They're not gonna, but they quit on him. They quit on him. You already quit on him. You showed your commitment level to him. Send him somewhere where he could be cultivated. Put AR5 in New York with Dable. Put AR5 in New York with Aaron Glenn. Put AR5 in Las Vegas. AR5 in Las Vegas would be beautiful. Throw into Bowers. You get this dynamic running quarterback.
How would you feel about AR5 going to Miami and kind of learning for a year?
AR5, Cash.
Did they ever do that?
I think they could. Cash, there's zero chance. Let me just make this abundantly clear. For everybody in here with this cute ideas about Aaron Rodgers going to some cloudy situation, there's zero chance Aaron Rodgers goes to a location where he's going to have to compete or there's a threat of competition. You can say AR5 is going to redshirt another year. That is a ridiculous thing. You do not put AR5 on the bench again. Cash, what do you want to ruin the man? And number two, Aaron Rodgers ain't going somewhere where there's a better quarterback. Because AR5 is better. Doesn't mean he's absolutely tuned. He's either retiring, going to Pittsburgh, maybe the Raiders or Cleveland. That's my take. I still think there's a 30% chance he walks away because this situation is not the same for him. Everybody judging his reactions and what he said, 30% chance he walks away. 30% chance. Maybe 40. But I think if Tomlin calls you and says, you're the only guy, I'm not going to even... We'll have a backup that can't even carry your underwear, your jockstrap. You'll be the guy. We'll walk you into the playoffs, and you work your magic to the best of your ability. Tomlin should do that. What's your alternative? The guy you didn't believe in, Justin Fields? You didn't believe in him. The guy Russell Wilson, who you thought was the best decision you ever made, and everybody started glazing Tomlin after the one win. I remember even in my own live chat, I'm just like, wait a couple weeks, all you Russell Wilson glazers. See, Smitty, told you Tomlin knew what he was doing. And I'm like, just wait. You're right now, game one, you're right. Russell Wilson won. Okay, good. Russell Wilson was trash, exactly as predicted. So what do you do if you're Tomlin? Your only option is to call up Aaron Rodgers and say, son, come on over. Call up Adams. Bring him too. Adams, Pickens, Aaron Rodgers, Pittsburgh. Hey, I'll be honest, as a Pittsburgh Steeler kind of critique, expert, I'm very hard on the Steelers. I think you give them Adams, Rodgers with Pickens and a run game. You bring back, I'm not even saying I love Najee. You bring back Najee. You got Jalen Warren on the restricted free agency tender. You're good. Like you're probably winning at least one playoff game with Adams, Aaron Rodgers, Pickens, Freiermuth, who's going to be valuable with Aaron Rodgers, a run game, a defense. Tomlin's ability to win early games and not, lose late games. This is a team that probably wins more than one playoff game. If they've got Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, this is a phenomenal plan. I hope Tomlin's watching.
Oh, and there's two things, like two caveats to that. One, people will say, "Oh, it was a mess with the Jets." Well, it was, and I think that coming back from the injury affected them, and that whole situation was a complete mess. The Steelers at least have, a good organization, and they've, been making it to the playoffs. Like I said, Tomlin has that ability to get there. And the second thing is that any team that brings him in is going to see him work out over and over again. And so if he's just completely cooked, can't get the ball down the field, can't move at all, they're not going to take that chance. He's going to have good workout for them to go in like that. So, it's not like they're just going to say, all right, come play for us without seeing him. So to line that up, it's going to have to fall in the line like that.
I think this is going to work. It better be on Aaron Rodgers' list. If it would just be like Aaron Rodgers to be like, yeah, I'm not interested in Pittsburgh or whatever, or Tomlin going, we're not interested in Aaron Rodgers. I'm gonna put my head to the wall and just say this is the only place. And it also, and I'm not saying this because of this. I'm saying this as I realize what it does to fantasy football. I'm not making any of these decisions based on fantasy football, these predictions. But what it would do is open up Fields to go to one of these other teams too, because I don't want Fields going to Pittsburgh. I want Fields to go to New York. I want Fields to go to the Raiders. I want Fields to go to Cleveland. I want Fields to go to Seattle and then give up on Geno. I want Fields to go to one of those 4 or other locations that we've talked about, so that Justin Fields can be fixed and fine-tuned. In Indy, with Steichen, trade AR5 to the Raiders. The Raiders would trade, would you trade, I'm trying to think of a Crosby trade or something like that. You wouldn't want to do that, though, because you'd want to also keep him. But, you got to get AR5, you got to do something. It would be crazy, the deals that might occur. I'd try and do it all through draft capital. That's what I would do. So if I was the Raiders, I would.
Don't you think it would be something like it would almost be like a Fields type deal, because they're giving up on him. So they don't value him that much. So how much would a team really have to give up? A lot. Together?
I think a lot more than Fields. Fields was a 6th-rounder conditional to a 4. AR5 would probably still get you a. God, maybe I'm wrong, but I would surrender multiple 2nd-rounders personally. But that's me.
Really?
Yeah, that's me. I don't know. He's still very young. He hasn't failed. They failed him. I
agree.
I think teams would look at it differently. But God, if you could bring in, I don't know. That's so tough. Fields in 2nd rounder, is that better than just AR5? It really is for the Indianapolis Colts, for a player that they gave up on anyway. And if you're the Raiders, you should just bring in Fields and not surrender anything. But if you don't, you bring in AR5. AR5 is a young, exciting player that I think in a confined system that leans on the tight end. You got Brock Bowers, and you focalize everything toward a good run game, defense, and AR5. It would be a good system for AR5. It would be a good place for him to go. Raiders fans would love him. He'd get rejuvenated. His confidence would be reset. But the problem is I'm not the GM of any of these teams, and the truth is, I don't know that the Colts even have it in their mind to trade AR5. It's the kind of situation where they say, we have zero interest in trading Anthony Richardson. Then why? Then I'm sitting there screaming, then why did you bench him in the middle of the year? And you have no desire to trade him? I don't understand how teams and organizations can say, we don't want to trade so-and-so, when they don't believe in the player, they don't play the player. It's crazy to me. But Shane Steichen, the reason I keep saying Fields is because I believe in Justin Fields' foundation that is cracked, and you need a Dable or Shane Steichen to fix it properly. I'm not saying it can't be fixed. Maybe Aaron Glenn is the right combination of everything going on, and Fields goes to New York and they fix him there. I'm just telling you, for all you Fields haters out there that say, no offense, but dumb things like he can't read a defense, he can't throw. Like, you're judging a man that was handcuffed in Chicago and immediately went over and was handcuffed in Pittsburgh. You don't know. You haven't seen him at his best because he's never been at his best because he's never been supported. So don't embarrass yourself. All right. And to the point of AR5, Shane Steichen is the guy, him and Dable are the guys to fix a quarterback. And if I'm telling you that Shane Steichen needs to trade him, doesn't mean that Shane Steichen can't fix him. But it appears Shane Steichen doesn't want to fix him or feel he's the right quarterback to fix, is my guess. So I sent him somewhere else. You know, so it's not that I don't think he couldn't fix him, but clearly they're not feeling it. And I think that holding on to him is only going to destroy him. And I'm not saying that AR5 is fixable. Fields is fixable. AR5, I don't know. But I think the Raiders would be a good place to test it out. And you get the right coach in Carroll that might really, and you get Kelly, it might be the right spot.
Brady's there.
Yeah, Brady. You know, there's a
lot of good minds.
There's a lot of ability to fix an AR5. Way late, but can we get a moonshot for 6-year-old girl for winning the championship? She stopped me short of a three-peat in our family league first year. Matt, congratulations on getting blasted by the little one.
To Jupiter.
I'm going to send you to Jupiter, not the moon. So, way to kick your dad's rear end in fantasy football. And even bigger shout out for acknowledging it and not hiding that, Matt. That takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot. Matt, this photo of Matt too looks like, you know, like he just pulled up the scores for the first time to see that he lost against his 6-year-old daughter, and he looks like he's petrified,
live screenshot,
mortified of the results. Matt, appreciate you dropping that. All right, back to the Super Bowl convo, unless somebody calls in and wants to continue the Aaron Rodgers conversation. Thanks again, Matt, for the super chat. Thank you also to Deckard for the super chat. I do you think that am I right that it's through Barkley that the Eagles can win this game? If Barkley doesn't have not just like 100 yards even or something, he needs to have a monster game, like a breakaway 50-yard touchdown. He needs to have like a 50, 60-yard run on top of 100 yards. Like, that's the only way this team can beat the KC Chiefs, in my opinion. And this is a tough run D in general.
Yeah, it's Barkley's run game, and it's the Eagles' defense, you know, stepping up just enough, slowing down.
True,
Mahomes
yeah, that too.
Just enough. It might only be one drive even, but just enough that they can outlast them.
Yeah,
KC can beat you anyway. They can air it out as much as people don't think they can, but they'll also just pick you apart all game long and just wear you down.
The Eagles are definitely a good D that needs to be talked about as well. You're correct. Eagles D with Barkley. Hand in hand, the two need to unite and explode. This commercial of Jerry Jones looking like he's 29 years old is kind of creepy. The Chiefs don't. If the Chiefs don't, let's see, Jolts. Let me see if I agree with Jolts for once. If the Chiefs don't stuff Barkley, they will get embarrassed. Okay, I'm not. I thought I was going to say the other way, which I would agree with. So Jolts, we're still undefeated, not agreeing with each other. That the Chiefs will embarrass the Eagles unless they got to stop Barkley is what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah, I was just going to say the way you know that you're correct is that, the Eagles have to do this, Eagles have to do that, is you can look at the Chiefs and say, if the Chiefs just play their game, they probably win the game.
The way I know
it has to come from the other side.
The way I know I'm correct is when I disagree with Jolts and Tyler in the chat. That's when I know I'm going to be correct.
That's true, too.
All right, dial into the phone line.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
How much time we got? About an hour and 15 minutes. I don't know that I'm going to go live during the entire game. I've done that before. I don't know. Maybe next year I'll do that again. I think I'm going to watch the game and just come back for the reaction show. Barkley shows up. Hurts is hit or miss. He needs to show up in order to win. My prediction, I don't want to say Hurts. I like Hurts a lot. I think people really misunderstand me. Hurts is a top 2 to 5 fantasy quarterback. I draft him all the time. I'm doing underdog drafts. Promo code Smitty. Here's the board. 50% matching your first deposit. That link is pinned in the live chat right now. The link's in the description. Code Smitty gets it done as well. Get some extra skin in the game and play higher or lower on Barkley's rushing yards. I've got them on screen here. These are some of my favorite. And you can hit this up and down arrow to lower or higher the number to cater the number to whatever you want. So I lowered this to 19.5, which lowered the amount that they multiply it on that line. But I was more comfortable with 19.5 yards. So you can maneuver those all around. You can do an 8-player contest and change all the numbers to a lower amount and have a better chance of hitting all 8. But it lowers, what you get. But regardless of that, what was I saying? Damn it. What was I saying, Travis?
Before the higher lowers, I don't know.
What was I saying, guys? I don't know. We're talking about.
Oh, was it about Hurts?
Oh, yeah.
People get it misconstrued.
Yeah, so Hurts on underdog is what I was saying. I draft Hurts as my quarterback 2025 all the time. He's sitting there around 3-4. A lot of times he's around 4. I grab him. No hesitation. Fantasy-wise, he's a monster. Thank you, E111. But he's not an elite. He's not in the top 5 NFL quarterbacks. And that's not a knock. It's just he's the one rarity in the quarterback pool that doesn't have the fantasy rank match the NFL rank. And it used to be they were all kind of hand in hand. And we'd hear a lot of people in the past say that about Hurts. Like he's a good fantasy quarterback, but he's not a top 5 quarterback. He was a top 5 quarterback for a while. He was a top 5 quarterback with Shane Steichen, who's the guy we keep mentioning that's over in Indy that could maybe fix AR5 or fix Fields or fix Darnold. Shane Steichen is the man that turned just Jalen Hurts into a 300-yard passer, 300-yard, 400-yard. Hurts could throw for 400 yards and 4 TDs in any given game with Shane Steichen. He was a monster. But the problem is Shane Steichen left. Hurts, the training wheels fell off Hurts, and he didn't yet know how to ride the bike without the training wheels. Shane Steichen was that good. So, doesn't matter why or how, I'm giving you the explanation. Hurts was a top 5 NFL quarterback with Shane Steichen. He was a top 5 fantasy quarterback. He was a top 5 NFL quarterback. The moment Shane Steichen left, those training wheels fell off, and he couldn't do it all without Shane Steichen, and he's clearly been missing something ever since. And he doesn't throw the same. He's not as accurate. He's not 400-yard capable anymore. He's not 3 and 4 touchdown passing really capable on any regular basis whatsoever. He totally was with Shane Steichen. He could have back-to-back 3 and 4 touchdown games passing with 300 yards and above passing back-to-back. Now he could have a game where he has 300 yards and 3 TDs. That next game he might have 150 yards and 0 passing touchdowns. He's not a consistent top 5 NFL quarterback anymore. We now have a discrepancy in the top 5 quarterbacks, which we didn't for years, where we have a guy that ranks top 5 in fantasy, but he doesn't rank top 5 in NFL play. And that is Jalen Hurts. Now, how far down does he fall? Not outside the top 10. I'm not saying that. I never have. And those of you that think I hate Jalen Hurts because of these comments, I'm not saying he's outside the top 10. He's easily in the 6 to 10 range. I don't know where. Sometimes he plays like a 6. He did the other day, the last game. Played like a 6. Played like the 6th best quarterback in the National Football League. Not fantasy. 6th best National Football League quarterback. That was a good game. But that was his good game of his array of good and bad games. I don't know what we're going to get. This is a good defense. This is a big stage. This is a lot of pressure. This is a team that the Chiefs, they get some favoritism. I've never denied that. There's going to be that on the field. There's going to be a lot of pressure. There's going to be just Hurts doesn't feel like he's in his bag. He doesn't feel dialed in all year. He doesn't feel like he's been consistently dialed in enough to weather through this game if things get rough and the ball's put in his hands and he's got to win the game. Unless he's running the ball, which I think he'll do well, like running some sort of touchdown in at the end of the game, he could do that. That's in his wheelhouse. But if he's responsible for throwing 4 straight missiles to Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and execute a game-winning passing touchdown, I'm not saying it's impossible. We might even be here celebrating that just because I said it. But I'm gonna bet against that every time. Right now, with what Hurts looks like and who he is as a quarterback, with his improper coaching, which is all masked. It's a mask in disguise by the great rushing of Saquon Barkley mixed with a good defense. We don't really know where the weaknesses are because the Eagles are so well-rounded now. Which you got to give Sirianni his credit. Sirianni knew where his weakness was. His weakness was he didn't know if he had what he had without Shane Steichen in terms of passing. So let's go get Barkley and let's improve the defense. And guess what? You can't really tell. You don't really know where the hole is in the bottle. The bottle's leaking a little water, but you don't have time to examine the bottle because it's doing so much. You don't know where the hole is, nor do you care because the leakage and seepage is so little that you end up winning games and you get to a Super Bowl. This is the big stage, though. This is the big bash, and this is where that tiny little leak might get exposed and explode, just because this is the Chiefs with the defense, with Patrick Mahomes, with the best coach in the game, that dials up the best plays at the best time, with a little bit of favoritism, of course. Everyone's going to say a little bit. You say what you want. I actually get riled up in a fun way about all the KC hate, because it reminds me so much. And Travis, being a Patriot fan and a Tom Brady fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a very, very distinct desire to tear down the GOAT, the current GOAT. Mahomes is the current GOAT. You want to divide it into previous GOAT, current GOAT. Mahomes has it. He's already that. Now, will he catch Brady? That's a whole nother debate. But he's currently the guy that's in the NFL that's the greatest quarterback in the National Football League. And if you don't think Mahomes is the best quarterback in the National Football League, from a football perspective, you are as biased as can be. And we had this debate the other night. Remember, Ron Navy called in. Ron, if you're out there, I'm still vomiting from your comments and throwing up from them. But you said that you'd rather draft Hurts than you draft Mahomes if you're starting an organization as a GM. And that's crazy to me. I'm still laughing about that. If anybody believes that, that's wild. You're just trying to argue, like I think Ron really was. He was just trying to argue he does that. Or you completely blinded. Like Mahomes is the number one quarterback in the National Football League. I think JD5's right there. I think if you wanted to take a gamble on somebody that is a little bit below, that will eventually potentially topple, or at least be right there and have a little bit more longevity, then you would say JD5. But there's no one else. There's JD5, there's Mahomes. You're starting a franchise tomorrow. Those are the two quarterbacks that you draft. Josh Allen's, right there as well. He's played a lot more years, so if you're starting a brand new team, you probably lean toward JD5 over all of them. But you have Josh Allen, who doesn't win Super Bowls, so he's slightly below those guys. I think it's because he hasn't been given the proper cast, but we'll find out later. But it's Mahomes, it's JD5, JD5 with Josh Allen, and then there's a tier break. There's just nobody even in the conversation, I think, at that point. But Mahomes is the current GOAT. And I don't even know where I was going with that one. I just keep sidetracking myself.
Just that he's the guy, like
he's the guy.
Patriots were Brady and the Patriots were at one point, so he's the guy.
Oh,
now.
the hate, yeah.
They're gonna get that over the top hate.
Over the top hate. Like, is there some favoritism? Yes, but Jordan got it. LeBron gets it. I'm not saying it's fair, and I'm not saying I even enjoy it. I don't want it. I don't want Mahomes to get favoritism. It's there though, but to blame their winning and their success on the referees constantly, it's laughable to me. I'm not saying that there isn't holding that doesn't get called, but you could go through any game and find holding on both sides of the ball. You could go through any game and find favoritism or a missed call here or there. The thing is, nobody's looking. The only time people really take the time out of their day to comb through every play from every angle and try and find holding that wasn't called is when people want to tell a story about the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's the same song and dance people would present when talking about Tom Brady. Tom Brady's a cheater. Tom Brady does this. Tom Brady does that. Tom Brady was amazing, and if you want to blame Tom Brady's success on referees or cheating or whatever, or Bill Belichick, you're just in denial and you're just bitter because he either beat your team over and over and over again, or you just grew some sort of weird hate toward Tom Brady. It's the same thing. And when people say Patrick Mahomes isn't a good dude, you're out of your mind. Like, this is one of the most stand-up persons you would ever meet. If you met Patrick Mahomes, I guarantee you'd say that guy is just a nice dude. He saw you in a grocery store. He probably, hey, Patrick, can you walk to my car? I've got a trunk full of helmets. Can you sign them? Yeah, okay. He'd probably walk straight to your car, sign every one, spend his day in the parking lot because the guy's too nice. He's the nicest guy in the world. Who cares that he got mad at Josh Allen in the middle of a Super Bowl game? Or a playoff game, got mad at Josh Allen or got mad at the referees. He didn't get mad at Josh Allen. He made one comment and everyone's like, oh yeah, you think Mahomes is a good guy, then why did he say what he said to Josh Allen about the referees? Like, really? Like, this is a good guy. And everybody acts like he's a monster. I don't understand it. Travis Kelce, on the other hand, I'm getting sick and tired of the Taylor Swift thing, just like everybody else. I just don't know if he proposes, is it good? Because then maybe he retires and then they go away, or do they just come to the game as a retired couple? I don't know. I don't know that it matters. But he says he's got a lot of.
Then the whole offseason, we're gonna have to hear about it, and whether he retires or not. They'll probably get married before a game or something.
They'll probably get married at halftime.
Yeah, there you go.
The referees will officiate. They'll get married at halftime. They'll call the game off. They'll be like, I'm sorry, this is more important. We're going to delay the game. They're going to go on a honeymoon. We'll come back and we'll continue the game.
Couple weeks from now.
Yeah, I am getting tired of the Travis Kelce Taylor Swift saga. But we'll see. Nick Sirianni definitely saved his job. I know that sounds like a weird statement right now, but he was on the hot seat walking into the season. And even if he had, let's say, made the playoffs, lost game one, he would have been potentially gone, and now that's not even a thought. He's one of the best coaches in football, which, I kind of like. I like a lot about Sirianni. I'm not gonna lie, and then there's a lot that I don't like. I think he's very much like Dan Campbell. I think he's very much the culture setter for good or bad. He's created kind of a bad toxic culture in some ways. Look at A.J. Brown, allowing A.J. Brown to read a book on the sideline and everybody acting like that was a good thing. It's funny. Let him do it. He's making himself better. Not on my watch. Not while we're in the middle of a game. That argument is asinine to me. When it's mainly coming from Eagle fans that are just trying not to be negative. They're just trying to support their player. But, like, anybody that thinks that A.J. Brown reading a book on the sideline is good is literally talking at a fandom, or they don't know what in the hell they're talking about. There's not a single positive thing coming from that. You don't read a book on the sidelines showing you have no interest in what your fellow players are doing. Like there's a fumble recovery, you're reading a book. You know, you should be standing up and cheering and egging on everybody and getting amped up. You're on the sideline reading a book. That's why I say he's set up a good culture and a bad culture. He's also almost got fired. You know, like Sirianni's been on the hot seat because he's had such a good team and it's been crumbling ever since Shane Steichen left. Shane Steichen was probably the better person to be the head coach. Now you could say, oh, that's silly to say now, Smitty, but that's the way that it's been going until right this moment. And really, you got to give it credit to Sirianni, though, and say, you know, the fact that he did, and this isn't just Sirianni, it's GM, it's ownership, but knowing that Barkley was the answer to fix the imbalance of the offense, improving the defense, Cooper DeJean, the Eagles literally, as we've said on this channel before, masterclass offseason. Like, how do you handle an offseason? How do you draft? How do you trade? How do you sign and extend players? The Eagles. The Eagles are the absolute model of what to do in an offseason. This was the best offseason a team has probably had in a decade. The Eagles put on a masterclass. From every piece of the offseason, from the announcement of A.J. Brown's new contract 11 minutes before the NFL draft kicked off, and you stuck it to the Niners. I've never seen a team get worked over harder than the Niners on draft day. The Niners got their shirt pulled over their head and punched in the stomach and pushed over. Like in a fight. You're fighting somebody pulls your shirt over your head, you can't see, they punch you in the gut, they lick their hand, slap you across the head, and shove you over. Pull your pants down, shove you over, you fall, roll down the stairs. That's what the Eagles did to the Niners on draft day. Because not only did they steal away Cooper DeJean, who the Niners announced they were going to draft because the leak happened inside their draft room. Cooper DeJean, they passed it down. All the Niner pages posted Cooper DeJean's the pick, and everything was being called before it happened, and then they changed it, and they said, Ricky Pearsall. We don't need him. That's right. Put it in. Adam Peters is gone. What do we do? Adam Peters is in Washington building a dynasty. We have never drafted without Adam Peters. Adam Peters drafted Kittle. Adam Peters drafted Brock Purdy. Adam Peters drafted everybody. What do we do? Let's take a wide receiver. We don't need one. I don't know. Ricky Pearsall. Cooper DeJean was the pick. The Niner fans wanted it. Cooper DeJean was the best pick. The Niners were getting a top 10 overall player at the end of the first round. And they pass on Cooper DeJean, who's on the Eagles. Eagles stole him away. And the reason the Eagles got him, 1,000%, the reason the Eagles got him was because they announced A.J. Brown's contract, his extension, his guaranteed money, 11 minutes before the NFL draft started. And why is that important? Because the Eagles knew the Niners were trying to trade Ayuk on draft day, and there was a absolute certainty that this was being attempted and very, very likely to happen. And the moment A.J. Brown's contract was announced, it threw the market value, the ability to execute a trade and a contract at the same time, out the window. Because now Ayuk and his camp said, whoa. A.J. Brown just reset the market. We got to renegotiate. If there's any trade that happens today, we want more money. And the Niners are just like, holy shit. And so they shifted gears. 11 minutes before the draft, the announcement happened that the Eagles extended A.J. Brown. What did I do? I said immediately, oh my God, this is my guess. It was my educated guess. they're going to try and trade Deebo Samuel because he's their backup plan. He's on a contract. You know what you're dealing with. Try and trade him. Minutes later, this is on a live stream. We got it all proof out there. You could go rewatch it. On the live stream, I said that. Minutes later, word started breaking. Now the Niners may try and trade Deebo Samuel. As we called it to a mother freaking T. We called the Ayuk situation to a T the entire offseason. We hit it almost 100%. So, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Deebo, try and trade Deebo. They still are planning on replacing one of their wide receivers. The Niners are on the clock. The Eagles screwed up everything for them already. Niners are on the clock. They anticipate they're going to trade Deebo to the Bills or another organization. The Bills moved down a spot in the first round. Why are they doing that? Because they're trying to work out a deal. They needed more time. Then the Bills moved down another spot into the 2.1, which is the next day. So they have all evening to negotiate a trade. The Niners pick, okay, well, we're going to probably try and trade Deebo or Ayuk, but probably Deebo to the Buffalo Bills. And the Bills move down to negotiate. And then all of a sudden they go, Cooper DeJean, change it to Ricky Pearsall. And the Eagles announce the A.J. Brown extension, get Cooper DeJean, make the most of their offseason, bring in Barkley, masterclass of an offseason. That's why the Eagles are in the Super Bowl. Smitty may not hate the Niners, but he loves talking shit about them. Or maybe, did you ever think about this, Young? Maybe I'm just speaking facts. Maybe when someone says something as wild as, hey, Smitty, you're biased toward Kyron Williams and you're biased toward Jahmyr Gibbs, and you're not looking at the Monty situation properly. He's affecting him. He's going to be a risk. With Monty there, Gibbs can never be the number one running back in the league. Do you ever think that my passion and my ability to just put the gas down, the pedal to the metal, and to not let up on the situation is just me telling you with passion about something that other people aren't talking about? So I beat a dead horse on it until I feel like it's ingrained in people's head and they now understand it. Do you ever think that maybe that's what it is? It's not any sort of bias. It's not anything other than no one's talking about it. The fact that the Eagles are where they're at because of the Niners. This is a relevant topic as the Eagles are here partly because of Cooper DeJean, and that was at the expense of the 49ers. Did you ever think maybe it isn't hatred at all? It's just pure fact. And the same thing with Gibbs. Smitty, you're a little biased toward Gibbs. Am I, or am I just passionately right? And because I keep getting pushback, I'm going to continue to put the pedal to the metal and press that gas down because I know it to be fact. So you can say what you want, and I know you're not hating, but I'm just letting you know that when people think I'm a biased analyst, I'm about as unbiased as it comes. I don't let my Cardinal or Bill fandom get in the way. I don't care. I don't care. When I'm in this room, I don't care about any sort of fandom. In fact, I've kind of desensitized myself toward being a fan at all, to where it really, when I walk out of this room, I'm still more in line with the fantasy impact than I ever am watching. I almost ruined my fandom, really, at this point. It's kind of like they say, if you study religion, you're not as religious if you go get a degree in world religion. To be a religion teacher or professor at a college level, you kind of dilute some of your belief because you're seeing all these different possibilities, how everything was so close and it just started to divide in every little thing. So you start to question things differently. I don't look at fandom the same as I used to, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And I enjoy my job so much that it's replaced that void of maybe when I look at somebody that's a diehard Niner fan like you, Young, or like Jolts, or any of you guys that have no idea that Christian McCaffrey's never going to be an elite player ever again. Maybe for a little while, maybe for 4-week stretch. I envy you. I envy that you have this inability to see logic and you just go all in for your team. I envy it, but I think I've replaced that void with my passion of doing what I do, and I love what I do so much it doesn't really affect me much. But my fandom has been diluted. I don't have the luxury of being a fan anymore. I wish I was watching JD5 today, says True Penguin. Young says, I wish Josh Allen was in the Super Bowl. Smitty, when can trades start taking place? Hang tight, bro. The calendar year will be here soon enough. It gets so exciting in March, bro. March is when this channel is popping. Like, we still have some good stuff here in February. There'll be a lot of breaking news shows. Like, if this Aaron Rodgers news broke not today, I would have went immediately live on it. But I knew it was going to be live so long today. I knew it would be a great topic today. I just waited about an hour or so just to go live. But, like, any of those things happen in February, March, we're going to be going live on it. So anytime news breaks, we'll go live. Cap. Field goal, Goddard, Hopkins, anytime tonight. Okay, thank you. We've got this one from Perry. Speaking of CMC, what would you include with him to package for Jamar Chase? You're going to have to give me some options, bro. I mean, Jamar Chase and CMC aren't even in the same universe, bro, in terms of a trade. Like, you're going to have to give up, like, multiple first-rounders, you know. And that, I don't even think anybody would do that, to be honest with you. So I don't think it's something tells me CMC comes back strong one more year. I know it's a lot stacked against him, just a gut. And that's okay to have a gut instinct on that. I don't hate on that. I don't hate on somebody. And it's possible, like, just to be very clear, I'm not right all the time. I don't expect to be right. I don't pretend to be right. I come in and I take my L's. I take my licks. I was wrong on Darnold. I was wrong on Mixon's early part of the year, although I was right on Mixon at the end of the year. But I was wrong in that I should have told you guys to draft Mixon because his value was pretty good. It was a low ADP, and then just trade him by double-digit weeks. The same advice I am applying to Derrick Henry. Draft Derrick Henry. Just trade him by double-digit weeks. Trade him by double-digit weeks. Same advice I should have given you on Mixon. I was wrong on Baker. I was wrong on Darnold. I was wrong on a handful of things. Could I be wrong on CMC? Well, I said avoid CMC at all costs last year, and I was right then. I don't know what would make me right then and wrong this year when his injury is bilateral chronic Achilles tendonitis. Which, him blowing out his Achilles, the odds of that are astronomically high. And you think you got some Twitter doctor that's told you otherwise. Go follow them then. You know, because a lot of those people told you Joe Burrow would never be the same. Go ahead, Travis. And dial in if you want to call in, guys.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Yeah, he just said, what about CMC and AJB for Chase? That's still not close for me. Like, that's two declining players, technically speaking.
You send that.
Like, you're gonna have...
You send that to me. I send you this.
You are offer sex. You are trade offer sex.
The thing I always say is, I know it's hard for people to do, but flip the trade around. Imagine you're getting offered that. Is that something you go, oh, yeah, I want to do that?
But
no way.
To his defense, like, you do want to rip someone off, like, to a degree. But yeah,
try to get the best deal you can.
But AJ Brown is an old dog. You're just not going to get it done. Jamar Chase is, you know, there's just no way. You know, I guess you could. I don't know. Does anybody think that could a first rounder, AJ Brown and CMC could get you Jamar Chase? I suppose.
Add a first rounder, and then you might get people moving.
I suppose that could get it done, but then I don't know if that, you know, is your team good enough to win? Even like I'm not saying I wouldn't do it or would. I just think that, yeah, AJ Brown and CMC alone. That's just, you're talking about two older players. You're talking about no longevity there, and no one wants that in a dynasty league. People in dynasty leagues won't even take Derrick Henry for very much, which is why you should probably trade for Derrick Henry. You should probably trade for older players. Go get Mike Evans for dog water right now. Go get Derrick Henry for dog water, because if you have them, I've had Derrick Henry. I've been trying to trade. Thank goodness I never got rid of him, and nobody would bite on anything. I've been trying to get rid of Derrick Henry in our The Fantasy Football Show, one of the very few Dynasty leagues I started at the very beginning of the show that are still lingering with you guys. I'd start a league, when I had like two viewers, 7 viewers. Back in the day, I started a Dynasty league like every other night, which was a huge mistake. But there's 3 of them that have survived. The others, there was probably like 7 or 8 total. And there's only 3 of them that are around. You know what happened to the others? I didn't close them. People quit. And everyone's going to be like, oh, I would have joined. I would have taken. We had to turnover constantly. And that's why I tell people that Dynasty leagues, the likelihood of a new Dynasty league succeeding past 3 years is below 50%. It's like marriage, divorce rates. Because people, they get amped up, they get overinvested, they quit, they get upset. We've had a few people in here, even big people, in terms of big followers that are on this channel that call in all the time, get mad and quit leagues, and then on top of that you have people that throw away their draft pick future and then they just walk away from the team. Then the team sucks, and you try and replace the team, the owner, like 5 years in a row. You just close the league. So imagine that, a league that your boy is in, and I'm not trying to say I'm special, but people want to play in leagues with me all the time. We can't keep them together. They're Dynasty show leagues, and we can't keep them together. That's how bad Dynasties are in terms of the success rate of staying alive. That's why you should focus a little more on the now mixed with the future versus only future if you're starting a new Dynasty league, especially with people you don't know, because the likelihood of the league succeeding past 3 years is 50% maximum. So trade for Derrick Henry on the cheap. Anyway, what I was saying was, in one of those leagues, I was trying to trade Derrick Henry for 3 straight years. I've won 2 out of the last 3 championships, thankfully. I made it to the finals this year, and then I lost because my boys didn't step up. But I keep winning with Derrick Henry, but I can't get rid of him for anything. So he's a great go buy low, because you don't have to buy him for much. I bought Henry last offseason and won the championship in both leagues. See, I mean, it's just playing for the now in Dynasty is a smart move. It can suck later, but if you build kind of properly, you'll be okay. You'll like, look at me. I thought I need to get rid of Derrick Henry 3 years ago, and I just keep winning with him, and I'm building around him, and I've got a lot of youth now, and I'm not feeling scared at all about losing Derrick Henry. If he falls off, he falls off. Me too. Mixon helped kill my postseason. What he did in the postseason, fantasy football postseason, is what I thought he'd do all year. So at the end of the day, like I said, I ended up kind of being right, but I still take an L on it, in my opinion, because I should have told you to draft him, then trade him. Because if you drafted Mixon at his low ADP, his value was through the roof. You could have traded him as a top 5 running back majority of the entire single-digit weeks of the fantasy season. Up to week 8, 9, you could have traded him for a top 5 running back, top 5 wide receiver. So in that, I take an L, because that was amazing trade value. But hard to see it coming. I didn't think Mixon would look as good as he did. I'll be honest with you, I'm not buying into him this year. I think whatever drop-off we saw at the end of the year was a combination of the way the team used him, but also he's getting older, and he's going to be injury-prone, and then you expect him to do any of that at the beginning of the year. And if he has any struggles at all, no one's going to go after him in a trade. So I'd rather just take a different player. But if his ADP falls far enough, then I'll be on board again. But I'd just rather draft a different player at and around his ADP. His ADP is not glorious right now. Dial into the phone line, guys. Phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
What else you got, Travis?
I was going to say, I know the teams they always script, however many plays to start the game and stuff, but I'd like to see the Eagles, not saying I want to see them play desperate, but I'd like to see them take a couple shots early, because if they can get a little bit of momentum and get out ahead of the Chiefs, because that's the last thing you want to do is be playing from behind against the Chiefs. Yeah. So if they could hit a big play and get some momentum going, that would do a whole lot, and it would open things up for Barkley too, because Spagnuolo a very underrated part of that Chiefs team, and he calls that defense so well. Like you saw last game, he waited to the last play of the game to make that call where they got that blitz there. And he can change a game in one play too. So if they can get out ahead or, mix it up a little bit and catch them on their heels a little, that's going to be their best chance.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes throwing some footballs, 50 career passes plus rushing TDs in the postseason, second most in NFL history. Tom Brady is the only one above him. This is why he's GOAT chasing, because he's so young. Again, the debate of Brady versus Mahomes, I'm not saying you can even have this debate until after tonight, but once and if and once he wins his third straight Super Bowl, I think we come in strong and have this debate that everyone's going to hate having, especially depending on how the game goes. But it's almost apples to oranges at that point, because you have Tom Brady with more rings. You have Mahomes with a three-peat, never been done. You've got Mahomes being younger. Then you have people saying, well, yeah, but he's got to do it before I give him the credit. Okay, that's your perspective. My perspective might be that the fact that he's done what he's done at his young age makes him the GOAT, and that he's got so much more on. I'm giving him an advance on what he's about to do in a way, and there's just two different ways to look at it. But there's no doubt about that Brady didn't get past, but will Mahomes, if Mahomes wins this, be right there with him? Just from a different angle. It's almost like trying to compare LeBron and Jordan. You'll never really be able to fully do it, or compare Wilt Chamberlain or whoever to Jordan. You can't really do it. The question is, are they both kind of on their own plateau? But the Mahomes haters are just going to have to accept, or they won't, but accept that he is literally on the GOAT track, and you can say what you want about it. Your argument is falling on deaf ears if you think that Mahomes hasn't deserved what he's, getting right now. There's the president coming in the building. This is crazy. The president's there. Taylor Swift's there. They're arch enemies, but the president's there. He's doing his famous pump. He's out there. This is a spectacle. This is going to be a fun game to watch, in my opinion. Let's see how many times they show Taylor and how many times they show the president. Because they should show the president more than they show Taylor, but they're not.
They're going to show him like 3 times.
They'll show.
There will be like 15 or 20.
Yeah, maybe that. Maybe they won't even show him. I don't know who's controlling the camera. The person controlling the camera might not like him, and so they might be glued on Taylor Swift. But they should. I hope somebody's keeping track of that. So far, we've got one Donald, and have they showed Taylor yet? Is she even there to show? I don't know.
They'll probably have Taylor in her own little box down in the corner of the screen.
As Taylor's going to parachute in. They brought the president in on a golf cart. They're gonna parachute Taylor in on a parachute carriage. She's gonna sit at midfield on the logo.
In a box. You gotta play around her.
Yeah, they'll put her in the glass box. They'll set Donald on the side in the unprotected carriage. All right. Anyway. What else? You have Mahomes higher than 19.5 rushing yards?
I think probably. Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe one.
Kareem Hunt higher than.
You lowered that a little, right?
Yeah, I think it was like 30 yards or 29 yards or something. I lowered it to 19.
I think that's a smart bet to lower it down a little and take it and go on the rushing.
Kareem Hunt higher.
I mean, almost always he gets loose for 10 or 15 yards, so it's not much after that.
Kareem Hunt higher or lower than 42.5 rushing?
Yeah, I like the higher.
Okay, Saquon 114.5, higher or lower?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, he's been doing it, so you would want to take the higher.
If he doesn't get that, they lose the game badly.
Right.
Jalen Hurts rushing touchdown. This one was a little tough for me because there's a chance he doesn't score a rushing touchdown here, but I think if he's playing well at all, he's probably scoring a rushing touchdown. So I went with the higher on that. I feel pretty good about this one. Rushing attempt for Mahomes, like if I pull up Mahomes is 29.5 rushing yards, higher, lower. 1.5 passing touchdowns, higher, lower. 251.5 passing yards, higher, lower. 6.5 rushing attempts, higher, lower. 1 interception, or 0.5 interceptions. So you're either putting higher, he gets an INT is a 2.48 times multiplier. So if you think he'll get an INT, that's a good one to throw in, 2.48 multiplier. There's no lower on it, though. You just have to pick 0.5 INTs. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's rushing yards. Or rushing TDs. Mahomes rushing TDs, 0.5. I'm sorry. Interceptions is just a standard higher, lower.
Mahomes hasn't had an interception, I don't think, since week 11.
But rushing touchdown, 2.4 times multiplier is pretty good. 285.5 rushing and combined receiving or rushing and passing yards for Mahomes higher. That's pretty good. 2.85 combined. 285.5 combined. I kind of like that one. I think he could. I mean, it could be low scoring, but 285 total yards for Mahomes is pretty good. I like that one. Quarter one rushing yards, 4.5 rushing yards for Mahomes in the first quarter. That's pretty good. 4.5 rushing yards in the first quarter. I like these first quarter ones. If you raise that all the way to 34 yards in the first quarter, it's 15 times multiplier. Look, if you move it, because you can click the up and down arrows and you can move the number, and so if you move it to 34.5, that's the max rushing yards. It's a 15 times multiplier.
Jeez, I mean, if you have the money to bet, not the worst one to chuck into a crazy one.
I do like
do a couple crazy ones.
I do like the 4.5 rushing yards in quarter one, though. His longest rushing attempt, 13.5. Longest completion, 35 yards. Passing yards for Mahomes in quarter one, 53.5. That's pretty good. I don't know. It could be one of those first quarters. It's really bland, though. You could go under on that. What about a passing touchdown in the first... Or no, second half passing touchdown. He usually does throw his touchdown in the second half. I don't know. I kind of like the yardage. I'm going to go with 4.5. I'm going to go with 4.5 rushing yards in quarter one for Mahomes. If I go over to Saquon Barkley, what if I put Barkley to have 130? Wow. He's got to have 199 yards to get a 9 times multiplier rushing yards. He has to have 179 to get 4.5. That's crazy. You can lower it too, though. You can put it down to 99.5 yards and get a 0.85 multiplier instead of 1. Let's see what else Barkley has. I'm going to look at his first quarter. And first half rushing yards, 54. I like that. Barkley, first quarter reception, 1.21 times multiplier. First to 20 plus yards receiving. Oh, wow. This is a great one. So Underdog has this one. He's the first player to 20 plus receiving yards, 16 times multiplier.
That's for who?
If Barkley's the first to 20-plus yards receiving. So if he catches a 20-yard receiving reception, it's 16.
That's a little dump off.
16 times multiplier. Let's go ahead and do these two. All right. So I got Mahomes 4.5 first quarter rushing. Oh, actually, no. Hold on. Let me go back to Mahomes. Okay, so Mahomes first TD scorer 5 times multiplier. Barkley first to 20 plus receiving yards 16 times multiplier. So $5 gets me $375, but I need to add one more player. Or actually, no, I don't. $5 gets me $500. I'm going to do a couple of these. So let me throw this on the screen. If anybody wants to tail this.
Yeah, I'm going to tail that one. Just for a couple bucks.
Yeah, you can do $1 if you want. You can do $1.
Yeah.
So let me throw this on the screen. $5 pays $500 on this one. I'm not saying this is great odds that I like it. There's a reason it's a crazy contest. But here's what it looks like. I'm just gonna do a couple $5 wild ones. So 16 times multiplier and a 5.04 multiplier. So he has to be the first one to 20 yards receiving. He has to have the first TD, and that gets you $5. Gets you $500. Let me go back into Barkley. Let's go with the third quarter rushing plus receiving TDs 2 point. I don't know if I want to do that one. First game reception 7 times multiplier Barkley. Okay, I'm gonna do that one. And let me go over to let's go over to Kelsey and see what Kelsey has. What are some crazy multipliers that Kelsey has? Fumble loss 12.85. I don't know if I want to do that. Okay, I don't like Kelsey's. Let's go with let's go back to Mahomes. Mahomes has a first quarter rushing receiving touchdown. No, I don't like that one. How is Mahomes having a reception? How is that not higher than 8 times multiplier?
Yeah, that could be wicked rare.
Okay, this one I like too. This is the same one. Barkley. This is a very similar one. I'm going to roll with this one too. This is $5 gets you $500. And obviously $1 would get you $100. So you could literally just do a $1 contest. So there's this one. These are the two wild ones that I'm doing. This is my wild man. And I guess you max out on the risk level, so you don't have to. Like 500 is the max you can do for $5, I guess, with the risk. But 0.5 first game reception. So he just has to get the first reception of the game. 7.5 multiplier. And then Mahomes' first TD score. So I'm using the same one as this one. And then this one, instead of the reception, this is the first to 20 yards receiving. That's 16. So either way, $5 is going to get me $500 on these two. That's wild. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
I feel like a pizza. I feel like a pizza. Oh, by the way, a big shout out to Fifth Street Burger and Fries in Arizona. I don't know if they have locations in other states. I don't think they do. They have one in Mesa and one in Tempe. But I went and tried. Let me see if I can. I went and tried. So I went and tried this burger at Fifth Street Burger and Fries. They hooked your boy up. I did an honest review on it. 9.5 out of 10. I changed it to a 9.6. It was probably the best burger I've had in Arizona by far. So big shout out to Fifth Street Burger and Fries is called. You can follow them on Instagram at that handle, Fifth Street Burger and Fries. But it's on my Instagram. But I went and ate there. They hooked me up. They gave me this amazing burger. They got like 3-4 different sauces that you pour all over the burger. Unbelievable. So I want to shout them out for taking care of me. But honestly, truly honest review. I don't even have to review them on YouTube. I told them I'd do it on Instagram. But I just want to say that's the best burger I've ever had in Arizona. Fifth Street Burger and Fries. And there's a location in Tempe and a location in Mesa, Arizona. If you're in Arizona, check it out. Tempe or Mesa, it's called Fifth Street Burger and Fries. Singular burger, fries, plural, is the name. All right. Here we go. How far away till kickoff?
It's kickoff 6:30, right?
It's 15. I always thought it was like 6:15. I don't know. We're getting there though. We don't have any call. The call-ins like go down tremendously in the off season. You guys need to call in more. Like it's like
Super Bowl party.
It's like pulling teeth to get you guys to call in on the regular in the off season. It's crazy. I mean, once we get to March, we got a barbecue BBQ dropping $100 hauler over under on controversial call. Taylor Swift sightings and this being Kelsey's song. My money is on Smitty doing a Monday night show while everyone else is getting over the Big Easy. Appreciate you, BBQ. You also get your name on any video of choice because you dropped a $100 hauler. So please tell me what video you want. I think you already have BTJ. And you get this $100 hauler. Beautiful songbird of our generation, Denny celebration button.
Smitty, everybody's pretty. $100+ hauler. I don't even know why they're getting ditty why. $100+ hauler. Oh, yeah.
Appreciate your $100 hauler. So tell me what video you want. I believe last time you did this, we put you on the BTJ. Let's hit that button and see if you're on there.
He's BTJ. What you gonna do? He's BTJ. He's gonna put it on you. He's BTJ. Gonna have a good game. He's BTJ. Your mama screams his name. BTJ is going to put it on you. There's not a single thing that you can do. BTJ is going to put it on you. There's not a single thing that you can do.
I guess you weren't on it, but you said you wanted to be on it. That's probably one of the best videos to be on because we're going to hit that button a lot this season. So you're going to see BBQ on screen quite a bit by getting on that one. So thank you, BBQ, for dropping that, my boy. Appreciate you. Jose says not watching the Super Bowl, but will be listening to your show. I'm not going to be live the entire show, the entire Super Bowl this year. There's just not a real point to it. You know, we have a decent amount of people in the building right now across all platforms, total. But I think that dwindles down. People like to watch the game. I don't know. Maybe next year I'll stream it. I thought about streaming Sundays at some point, like during a season. I don't know if it'll be this season where I just stream the entirety of the day. while the games are going on, reaction. But I don't know. We'll see if next year makes sense for that. It depends how many people we'd have in for that. If we kept like 500 people in the building, like live viewers at any one moment, 500 people, I'd probably stream all the games. Not stream the game on here, but stream my reaction as I watch the games. But when it dips down to like 100 or 200, not that everything's about views, but there's a certain amount of work that goes into it when you're talking about, So if there's 500 plus people, I'd probably stay in and watch games. I think. Although I do enjoy watching the games just from the comfort of my couch or whatever. But I'd consider it strongly for 500 viewers to keep that in the building. But like right now we have 200 total, 100 from YouTube, 100 from Twitter. And I'm only going on X just during the off season here and there just to get people used. If you're watching on X right now, I don't go live on YouTube or on X every time. So make sure you get on over to the YouTube and subscribe. But yeah, I don't think I'll be live during the game. Not today. Are BBQ's questions for real or over unders? I mean, I don't think there's a Taylor Swift higher or lower on Underdog. Let me see if I can find it. I don't think they have it. Yeah, I don't think they have it. But we dropped these beauties right here. Saquon Patrick Mahomes, $5 gets you $500 if these land. These are some wild ones. You look at the multipliers, 7.5 times multiplier 5, 16 and 5. And I think it maxes out at a certain amount. Like I'm not even using all this multiplier here because $5 maxes at 100. I'm sorry, $5 maxes at 500. So it's 100 times multiplier max, I think, or I don't know. Or I mean 20 times multiplier max, I think. Something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure. Are you going to watch the NBA dunk competition next week? Sure. Yeah. Or at least watch the replay of it. Is there a bet for Kelsey retiring? Not on Underdog. I'm not too. Yeah, I don't. He's not retiring. He's already said it got a lot of football left. I don't think he's retiring, or he wouldn't have said that. I think he would have said we'll see if he was contemplating it based on the win or loss of this game. I think when you say I got a lot of football left, you could change your mind, I suppose, but the odds are extremely against it. So I would, I guess I would take that higher than that he returns if it was there. Travis, score prediction.
Oh man, I'll say. Only because I want to be positive. Want the Eagles to win, I'll go 27-24 Eagles. I don't have a lot of faith in it.
24-27 Eagles?
Yeah, 27-24 Eagles.
Okay.
You know what? Let's go at a touchdown. 31-24 Eagles.
Okay, Travis, 30. Sorry, say it one more time.
31-24 Eagles. And that's more me hoping over accurately predicting, but
Might need a new pen. All right, I'm going to say, if anybody wants to call in and drop their prediction, call into the phone line. All right, Travis is saying that. I'm going to say, that's Philly, KC, I'm going to go the game's always, there's always something like a safety, a missed extra point. It's never a normal score. So let's go 14. Let's go. I don't know. I get. We'll go 27. 24. KC.
For some reason, I keep thinking it's not going to be a close game, like a touchdown game, one way or another. But I just predicted it a close game, just I don't know, for the heck of it. But like something in the back of my mind keeps telling me like it's not going to be that close. What was the last couple scores of Super Bowl? I can't remember. Have they been close?
Ziggy, what was the score of last year's Super Bowl? He may not know.
This might answer your question. The winner of the Super Bowl was Bud Grant.
He's such a moron. He's such a moron.
Let's see.
2024.
Rams beat the Bengals 23-20.
It was 22-25 KC over the Niners. 25-22. So close. Is that right?
Okay.
And then the 2020. Yeah,
25-22.
Yeah, it's close. 2020.
The one before that was
Eagles 35, KC 38. So it was close. That was close. 2022 was 23-20 Rams over the Bengals. God, that one's painful.
That was close.
Chiefs are in the one before that. The Chiefs are so good. 9-31 Bucks though.
Okay, that was the last blowout. All right.
And then the game before that, 20-31 Chiefs over the Niners. Chiefs are just always.
Okay.
Patriots 13-3 over the Rams. That one. 2019. Is that right?
2018 season. It wasn't 2019. Yeah.
Oh, 2019 Super Bowl. Yeah. And then the 2017 season. That was the Eagles 41, Patriots 33.
Yeah, stupid. Malcolm Butler didn't play. Nick Foles.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few pretty close ones. They stay pretty close for the most part.
All right. Any regular want to dial in and throw your name on this board? Do it live.
I actually got to jump, Smitty.
All right.
Grab some dinner and stuff.
See you, Travis.
I'll,
right.
Will you be live after?
No, definitely. All right, later.
All right.
Man, I feel like another one of those Fifth Street burgers, to be honest with you. It was so good. It was so good. Go look at my Instagram. It was the best burger I've had. You dip them in all these sauces. I mean, 9.5 is, and then I changed it to 9.6 because of the dipping sauces. Pardon all the paint on my fingernails. I've been painting the house and everything. Look at that. There's the menu. It's such a good burger, man. I just want to give them their proper shout out. Anybody wants to drop a prediction on the board, dial in real quickly. Otherwise, it won't be seen. The Redwood, what's your prediction, pal? You're live.
Hey, what's up, me? I got 42-28 Chiefs.
42-28?
Yep.
Okay. Woo! Woo! The
42-28. All right, I'm going to get out here, though.
All right, later, bro. The burger is from Fifth Street Burger and Fries. Or, sorry, yeah, Fifth Street Burger and Fries. You can see it on my Instagram. I did a reel on it, my most recent Instagram reel. I want to go get one of those burgers tonight. I might go down there. I might put the phone on the game on my phone and drive down there during the Super Bowl and get a burger. I wonder if I can order. Oh, let me see if Miss Smitty can order. Is Fifth Street Burger and Fries on Uber Eats? All right, let's see here. Yeah, 27-24. I mean, I could see it being a higher scoring game. I could see it being like 35-24, something like that. What it could end up being is this score, but then in the final moments, the Chiefs, in an attempt to try and come back, the score gets more inflated and ends up being, 35-24. I think I'll leave it at that, but I'm tempted to go. I'm tempted to do that. I'm just going to write it there. See if I would have been right. Yeah, that burger was amazing. Let's see. Hopefully she replies. Miss Smitty can order that. If she can order that, I am down. I'm sure they deliver. They gotta deliver. It's Tempe, but it's only like 12 minutes away. Chinese General. Chinese what? I'll make another prediction. I'll predict can't even spell my name right. I'll predict that Worthy has 2 TDs and is potentially MVP conversation. Might go to Mahomes anyway, but I'm going to say 2 TDs to Worthy. Eight 803, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Smitty, this is one of the infamous Clint calling from North Carolina.
Clint from North Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay, Clint,
Yeah.
what can I do for you, Clint? First of all, what score do you have?
I got the score. I got 35-20 Eagles.
35-20 Eagles from Clint. 35-20.
Yeah, I think those Georgia Bulldog Eagles defensive players are going to have a night.
All right. There you go. Clint
All right.
says 35-20. Nice
Thank you,
prediction.
buddy.
All right, later, bro. Clint dropping it. If Clint or the Redwood or anybody else that calls in predicts it on the money, I'll give you a 2025 The Fantasy Football Show membership. That calls in. Matos is 3 TDs. So far, it's going to be just the Redwood and Clint. And Travis, but Travis is, he's got his membership anyway. So yeah, it's going to be Clint or the Redwood or anybody else that calls in. I actually took a couple of props worthy scoring. Yeah. Maybe I should do that prop. Let's pull it up. All right, let me go. I'm going to go on Underdog and do some hires. We'll go over to, we'll search for Worthy. We're going to do Worthy 2 TDs. That's a 7.9 times multiplier. Love it. Higher. If we do that, we gotta maybe bet on. Let's see here. Let's just go over to Barkley and do another Barkley. Barkley. First TD scorer for his team. Or do I like third quarter rushing, receiving touchdown? Barkley to get a third quarter touchdown. That one's okay. First game reception goes to Barkley. I like that one. Oh, we got Blake calling in. Balake, you're live. What's your prediction, Balake?
I've got 29-24, Patty Mahomes and the boys.
29-24?
Yep. They're going to go for a 2-point conversion to try to get a touchdown lead and mess up.
All right, that's Balake. Okay. Let's see here. Do we like... Blake, do we like first drive receptions? That's not a high enough. Do we like first game reception going to Barkley? The first reception of the game goes to Barkley. Or do we like first 20 yards receiving? He's the first person to receive 20 yards.
Who's the first person?
Never mind. All right. Hey, gotta go. Thanks, Balake. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Later. Mitch from Oregon. You're live, Mitch.
Hey, Smitty. I've got 37-34 Chiefs.
Hold on one second. 42-28. That's Redwood. You've got what?
37-34 Chiefs.
37-34. And this is Mitch. Okay. Mitch is entered into the contest. All right, Mitch. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, thank you.
Later.
Yep. Okay, bye.
Terry Roberts dropping a $2 hauler. Says 20-17 KC, Smitty. Terry says 20-17. Terry 20-17 Chiefs. Thank you, Terry. Terry to the moon dropping his super chat on screen. Terry's been here for years. An OG on the channel. My boy. All right, so I gotta figure this out real quickly. Hold on. I gotta do something Barkley related. First TD score. I mean, that's not bad. First TD score. So $5 on that would get me $262. That's not bad. Let's go ahead and drop that one. So what I did was 1.5 rushing, receiving TD. So I'm predicting a 2 TD game out of Worthy. This is a bold one. And then Barkley first touchdown score. So $5 gets $262. Why not? Why not? All right, we're almost here to kickoff, right? It's 4:15 my time, 6:15 Eastern. Don't forget, if you guys want to do any of these, link is in the live chat pinned. Link is in the description of the video. Code Smitty can also be entered if you download the app and it says, how did you hear about us? You can use Code Smitty there, but the link inserts Code Smitty for you so that it shows my name automatically, Smitty, right in there. But, yeah, make sure you're getting some extra skin in the game, guys. You know, hit that link. Play underdog. The hires are amazing. It gives you so much more fun, enjoyable experience to like be rooting for different things. And then on top of that, you know, you want to draft with us at midnight Eastern. We constantly draft on the channel here, and you definitely want to get in on that and draft 2025 teams, which are already up, and we've been smashing the hell out of the values all over the board. Matt O dropping a $5 wad, says Eagles 35, Chiefs 32. If you don't call in and you super chat, you still get in. That's good enough. All right, I got to move these around a little bit. I got to make room. All right, who is this? This is Matt O. Matt O. Matt O says 35-32. 35 Chiefs, right? 35-32. Barkley, 3 TDs. Woo! Woo! That's MVP. That's NFL, or that's Super Bowl MVP right there. Barkley 3 TDs, rushing TDs. If we move that to 1, it only gives you 1.5 multiplier, which is only 1.95. Jeez. Barkley backwards touchdown. Wouldn't that be great? All right, guys. Good luck to everybody. I'll be live after the Super Bowl. Appreciate you all. Join me after. We'll be live for the reaction show. Go get it. Go get it. Thank you, BBQ, for your super chat, my boy. Thank you, Matt B, Deckard, Terry, Matt O, and Matt B. Appreciate both my Matties. BBQ to the moon, Terry to the moon, Deckard to the moon. Appreciate you all. See you after the game.
Your wide receiver from the combine.
He can't catch.
He has hands. Just fast.
Many say he won't make it at the next level.
Enough. Watch me. I must go back and make it right.
Xavier Worthy.
He can't catch.
Just fast. Just fast. Just fast.
He can't. He won't make it.
Catch this. Great catch. Wow, nice catch. He's not overrated catching the ball.
He can really catch.